Hello and welcome to the final session for today. Print Day for Indie Authors, April 19th, 2025. You can catch all of the replays over at, I've got the pop-up here somewhere, d2d.tips/print day. Also via our YouTube channel, you can check them out there. But I'm here for the end of day Q&A in case you guys had any questions you wanted. And I did haphazardly invite my previous guests from today, and I managed to wrangle and hog tie somebody to bring him in. Todd, welcome to the studio. Todd Funstock.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining as well, because that last session we just did on marketing, I know there were so many questions people had. So if anyone didn't get their questions answered, we can. I've got the brains of Todd here. We can talk about anything related to print books as well. And then I did invite some of the other participants from earlier in the day. And if they pop into the studio or the green room, I'll welcome them right onto the stage live. But so yeah, this is your chance. This is your chance to ask those questions. Robin, thank you for the kind comment. So Robin says thanks to Mark and all the guests. So Todd, thank you for coming as well.
Oh no, it's fun. This is fun. So thank you for inviting me. This is fantastic.
No, it's great. And Nigel's been around all afternoon leaving comments as well. And it's 11 p.m. Nigel, you are a trooper that you've stuck this out. Yeah, I did try to make it. It was weird, like what time of day, and maybe next time we do it, I start at 9 a.m. Eastern or something that's a little bit more reasonable for folks over in other time zones as well. So, and Michelle says this day's been really helpful, and thanks. So lots of love. You guys are amazing. But if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments, especially. But I'm gonna poke Todd here because I'm just gonna get this started. I'm gonna say, so I love the stuff that you had to say about marketing for print books, but we didn't get a chance to show off some of your killer displays, right? Like you do an amazing talk. I remember seeing you do it at Superstars, and I think you're bringing it back due to high demand. And it's the art of the con, and it's not conning people, but it's a play on words because you're a crafty gentleman. So, do you want to talk about that? And I can pop up some of the images of some of the displays you've done.
Yeah, one of the things in the last session, I mean, there's so much information, and there's, I think any one of the five that were on that panel could have filled not just 45 minutes by themselves, but probably 2 hours by themselves with all the stuff that they knew. One of the things that I wanted to mention, we had talked about like little cards that have, say, the QR code for an ebook on the back or an audiobook on the back. We talked a little bit about what you wear can help draw people over, what you say clearly helps draw people over, what you have behind you, the big, banners and that sort of thing, all of that stuff. And I just wanted to point out, like, there's so much that works together in getting people to come over. Yeah, that's nice. That's me being like super ridiculous because somebody was like, "You're just smiling. Why don't you do something a little more flamboyant?" Then they got me to do that. So now that's floating around out there. So I mean, it's all like, I think somebody commented in the last session that they had cards with a free ebook QR code on the back, and people just weren't picking them up. And I that stuck in my mind, and I wanted to kind of speak to that, but the conversation kind of went a different direction. And what I would say to that is I think any one of these things, having just a banner up with nobody there and just books on the table, having just a person there with books and no banners and no cards, having just cards on the table without any of the other stuff, each one of these things by itself, not going to get the job done, at least in my experience, right? I mean, like, it's people don't just come up and pick up a card and buy an ebook off of it. It is the interface with the person. It is the interface with the art. It is the interface with the books on the table. It is the atmosphere of the con itself, the buzz there. I mean, like, it all comes together. It is all an organic cluster that creates that success. And there's 100 different ways to do it. I mean, the way that I do it has been successful for me. But as I was saying, I was next to Andy Peliquin at the Emerald City Comic Con, and the way he did it was very different than the way I did it, and just as effective, if not more effective. So it's, I mean, I just wanted to point that out, that it's not just the card that gets the job done. It's lots of things together.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Answering questions we didn't get to in the last session. I'm going to add, there's some great questions popping up. So I'm going to be going back and forth on on these as well. So Nigel says, I'm a newbie ready to launch a series of 7 books, ebook plus print, selling online only. So none of the sexy Emerald Cine Comic-Con and Todd Fawnestock poses. So any advice on absolutely anything would be welcome. So the first thing, Nigel, I'm going to say is I'm so glad you have seven novels. I would think about the strategy of how and when you're going to release them. There are different methodologies. If they're all ready to go, you may want to just make them all available now. You may want to roll them out month by month or every 2 months or whatever, depends on your editing schedule. But the one thing I would advise you to do is you don't want to, we talked about this in the print covers, covers, and we talked about this even in selling the books to the wrong people. And Todd had mentioned that last time. You don't want to set up an expectation for the reader that you fail to deliver on. If it is truly an epic fantasy with humor and cats, you better deliver that if that's what the cover promises and that sort of thing. So if you train readers that you're going to release all 7 books, one a month or in 7 weeks or whatever that is, and you don't follow up by continuing to do that, that could disappoint the reader. So think about the time and the space. Is the series going to go on? Does it end at 7 books, in which case you're fine to release it however that works for you? Are there going to be 14? And can you keep up the pace? Because the last thing you want to do is kill yourself, is get on that treadmill and the treadmill just keeps going faster and you hurt yourself. Now, you got to take care of yourself because your readers need you to keep writing. So think about how you want to do that strategy. There's no one way. Todd, any advice for Nigel as he's just beginning on this writing and publishing journey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to piggyback on what you said about that consistency because I have a very specific example that happened to me. We had a group that wanted to put out a book a month, and there was a group of us wanting to do it. And we put out 3 books in 3 months. Then it didn't work out. Somebody didn't hit their deadline. Then the 4th book didn't come out. We put one out the 5th month, missed the 6th months. And then we had the 7th month and the 8th month. But I mean, it doesn't take long for readers to be like, okay, your credibility just went. So, right. And something as small as that, like I said, I mean, I think we must have gotten 8 or 9 books out that year, but if you say 8 books in a year and you deliver 8 books in a year, aces. If you say 12 books in a year and you deliver 8 books in a year, that's not good. So the expectation and the payoff, I loved how you put that. Yeah, it's important.
Thank you. No, I love that. Other advice I can think about, Thomas, is so I'm gonna do some. I know it's a print book day, so very, very briefly, when you think about ebooks, if you have 7 books, you can do things like I still haven't done free first in series because, as Katie said, when it comes to giving out stuff in physical objects, and she's like, 1% of the people will actually download it. It's the same with ebooks. You give away 1,000 ebooks. Most people, the actual conversion of people who go to sales is roughly 1.4%. And these are studies I've done over the decades in ebooks. And that's because most people never even look at that free thing. So what I usually do is my first book in series, which I price at regular price normally, some people keep it at a permanently 99 cents or an introductory price just to kind of funnel people in. But what I like to do is I like to temporarily drop book 1 down to 99 cents for a limited time, purchase a BookBub or writtenwordmedia.com, and one of those newsletter features where I can advertise in the newsletter, and hopefully my sell-through on books 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 make my money back. Now, how does this relate to print books? Because this is all about print books. When I drop my ebook price down to 99 cents or potentially free, and it starts trending and the algorithms feed it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Chapters Indigo and the various sites that have print books and ebooks, people buy the type of book they want. They'll get an audiobook. If they see a book that looks really, really good and it's showing up because it's 99 cents and it's trending with the algorithms, if they're a print book reader, they're just going to buy the print book. But it came to their attention because the sale was on the ebook, and it's getting it's getting that love and attention there because the print book and the audiobook are usually attached to it on most of those retailers. And same thing, if they're audiobook readers, they're going to go, oh, this looks interesting, and then go get the audiobook. So what I usually do is when somebody says, this looks interesting, if I'm wanting the ebook, I go to Kobo. Different people read on Kindle, read on Apple, read on Nook. Same thing. Different people will want to get, I'm going to go see if I can special order this print book from my local bookstore. And I do that all the time. It's because I love supporting my local bookstore. I think that's really important for me as an author and working collaboratively with independent authors, working with independent bookstores. I see a book that I really like, and I did this with some of yours, Todd. You were talking about them. I got the audiobook because I wanted to get the audiobook and listen to it because you narrate so brilliantly. And I know you're in your narration booth right now.
Yeah, that's what this is.
The Ray Porter style booth that he
Yes.
taught you how to do.
If it's good enough for Ray Porter, it's good enough for me.
But then I go, because I want a signed copy, I will go and get the signed copy through, author, like Laura's page, so I can get you to sign a copy, or even through my local bookstore, so I can have a nice physical one that I can kind of, like hold up and go, look, I have the book.
Well, you can order that off my website if you want. If I saw,
I can order it from you too. Yes, I could.
Order straight from me. I would make a personalization for you, or for anybody.
Awesome. All right. So, and then, Terry left this comment. I really hate to train my readers that if they wait, they'll get it at a discount. So it's easier for me to keep it free. Okay. So that's cool. Good point. Good point. You don't want to train your readers to wait as well. So that may be a thing. I tend to like running those temporary promos because I'm constantly bringing new people in. And then if they like me, they got it for a cheap price, then they may want to continue. So let me see some other questions. So this is from Tiffany Inc. Studios. A studio says, one of the authors from the previous session, I think it was Katie, mentioned special items for her Kickstarter. Can you explain? And then I guess sort of reiterated, what are some of the other items you recommend for Kickstarter? Any thoughts on that, Todd? Or
you know what? I have not dipped into Kickstarter yet. That is a future project for me, not a present project. So I don't want to talk about it. Something that I don't know anything about. Yeah.
Well, okay, I've got some. So Katie, for example, with the Kickstarter, Katie had, this is one of the ones I got with the slipcase. This is the most expensive, beautiful, gorgeous, and I just had to have it because I love Katie so much and I wanted to have the signed, beautiful copy. But you all can also get like audiobook and ebook, which I think I paid the full money just to get everything. But there are other things. And I think Avery Olive, who was on earlier, one of the designers, she also designs cool things. And I did say, this is from my Canadian Werewolf. It's actually it's like a Christmas tree ornament. And it's actually a mini book. And it's got it's the mini book. And actually I think it's the first 60 pages. There's actual little print in there. I know it's hard to see. But that's like a special cool thing. Now, I just did this for my readers who are the big fans and said, hey, I just sent them to you. But you can do special things like that. You can do stickers, and you get like special stickers because you're just proud and you really love the cats from her books, for example. So you have those stickers. You can have other I did coasters with my last book. I did a Kickstarter with it, and it was a horror collection, and I had a local brewery make a beer for it. Now, I wasn't allowed, you're not allowed to do alcohol as a prize, but I had a glass that said, I'm thirsty for a Mark Leslie story and a beer. And on the back of it, it was the One Hop Screaming. And I even made coasters as well that I'm able to give out. And again, I can drop them in when somebody orders a book. I can just drop in an extra coaster or something like that. Some of the other things can be special edition, beautiful editions like the one Katie has. So you have the regular paperback, you have the hardcover, and then you have the really expensive, gorgeous hardcover. And then you can have other things like, hey, I'll do a virtual meet and greet. I know, and they don't always have to be physical items. People do like the coins, the collector's items. Kevin Anderson, good friend of ours, Todd, recently did some Kickstarters, and one of the ones was, he said, for $5,000, I'll write a story that I'll give to you, and I'll just delete it off my hard drive, and it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. and I think there was a gentleman whose daughter wanted to be a writer, and she had an idea, and she wanted, like, Kevin wrote that, and then they called themselves co-authors, which is kind of cool for her to be a co-author with the New York Times best-selling author. And he's like, hey, that's fantastic. You never get paid that kind of money for a short story. So this is a great opportunity to collaborate with a New York Times bestseller. So those are some of the things you can do, I think, with Kickstarter. I hope we answered that question. If that's well. I'm going to pop up this other one from S. McQueen. I'm still not clear on the way D2D does distribution. Could you take a couple minutes to give me a snapshot? Thank you for asking. Okay, so Draft2Digital.com is a service for making ebooks, making print books, and then distributing them. So if you create your ebook, create your print book, and you can use the tools inside, or you can use tools like Vellum or Atticus or designers that you've worked with, that you've hired. So long as you have the ebook ready to go or the print book ready to go, use our free tools, use designers that you pay for. You load them to Draft2Digital, and then we are a distributor. And for ebooks, you can get your ebook distributed to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, Kobo here in Canada, Viblio in Germany, and Tolino in Germany, and Viblio in France, which those are major retailers, as well as about 8 different library wholesalers, as well as Everand, which is a subscription service. And you can choose which ones to go to, because as an author, I usually will publish my ebooks directly to Amazon. And then I usually go direct to Kobo. I did create Kobo Writing Life, so I'm a little bit partial to it here in Canada. So I usually go direct to Kobo and Amazon. And then I use Draft2Digital and say, okay, go to Apple, go to Barnes & Noble. So you, as the author, as the publisher, have full control. And that's how you can use Draft2Digital for ebooks. Now, for print, we have a partnership with a print partner, and those books get distributed through Ingram, which is the world's largest English language print wholesaler. And that means pretty much almost any English language bookstore can get access to your books. And that, I hope, answers the questions about how we do distribution. There is no charge up front. You can get free ISBNs, use all these free services. The catch, because people are always like, well, what's the catch? It's free. We keep a small percentage. It's roughly 10% of the margin you would earn if you were to go direct. We just keep 10% of that margin, and that's how we earn the money. That's how they earn the money to pay folks like me and so many of the amazing team at Draft2Digital. So hopefully that helps. All right. So with all that distribution, Tiffany says, can we say no returns? Yeah. So actually, Tiffany, that's a good question. Draft2Digital print does not actually allow returns. If you were to go with Ingram Spark, you get access to say returns or no. We don't do it only because we're worried that authors are going to accidentally set it to returnable. And I have personally, my very first book I self-published in print on demand 20 years ago. I think I earned about $160, $170 in sales on my book. And then I owed Ingram $350 for the returns 6 months later. So I was really happy for a while. And then when the returns came back, and just recently, it was about $1,500 that I owed them. Now, fortunately, now I make enough money as an author, I could absorb that. But that's a scary thing, and Draft2Digital does not want to do that. So with D2D print, we don't even allow returns. So that's something, and Ingram Spark does allow that. So you have that flexibility. So again, we don't want newbie authors, beginning authors, we don't want you going into debt. So we don't even allow you the ability. Maybe in the future, if enough authors ask for it, only after they sign a whole bunch of waivers that say, yes, I agree, I'm willing to be injured, will we allow it. But that's a great question. So thank you so much for that. What does 10% of margin mean on the retail price? So it's with ebooks, if you were to publish an ebook direct to Amazon or Kobo or one of those platforms, you can earn 70%. You're basically only earning 60%. So a $10 ebook, just to do easy math, you get $7, or you'd earn $6. Now with print, there's a lot more fingers in the pie. There's a lot more people who are taking bits and money. So about 50 to 60% of that, there's the print cost, which comes off that. A $20 book might have a $5 print cost, and then you got that other 50% or 60% that's going to the bookstore and the wholesaler. So you're only sitting with maybe, let's say it would be about $4 or $5 that you earn. And so Draft2Digital shaving money off of that margin. So maybe instead of $4.50, you get $3.75. But I mean, I can't do the math in my head. What we do very clearly is tell you what your margin will be when this book sells. And you find that out before you hit the publish button. So I hope that helps. So Todd, any other thoughts and advice for authors who are just beginning their journey? Because, you've been through this. Like what's something you wish you knew?
Oh, I think the baseline that I would say to new authors, young authors, is just, just keep at it. Like, find the way that to go forward. I mean, we're here talking a lot about print books, and that's mostly what I do. And that was not the popular thing when I started doing it back in 2018. The popular thing was doing ebooks and not even having any print books, and just, leaning on Amazon and making your fortune that way. And a lot of people did. So when I went a different direction, it was because I liked talking to people face to face. I got into the in-person events because it just happened to be something that I stumbled into. But the baseline is finding your readers, right? Whether you find them online, whether you find them at events, whether you find them through distribution hubs like Ingram Spark, like Draft2Digital, wherever you find them, like that's going to be the key to success. And most of the people that I know that have been successful, most authors that I know that have been successful, have found their unique way, whether they're using a little bit of 20 books to 50K and they're using a little bit of con selling in person, whether they're using, direct sales on their website. They're crafting their path that works to their strengths and to their desires and their drive. And you got to have that. Pushing forward requires that you like what you're doing and that you can drive yourself forward to do it. Because for example, let's say you hate posting on social media and you put your whole business around social media because somebody told you that that's the only way to do it. First of all, they're wrong. It's not the only way to do it. Second of all, you hate social media. What are you doing? You're going to end up hating your life. So these are like core level things to think about as you start putting yourself out into the world. And if you're just starting, think about leaning into your strengths. If you're hugely prolific, think about, rapid release type of strategy. If you're not hugely prolific, think about building up to that once a year launch that you've got using whatever methods you want to do. If you love talking to people, in-person events. If you hate that and you're a computer guru, do online stuff. There's so many different ways to get to the top of the mountain.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And I have to say, go and ask for the book Falling to Fly. You check it out at various retailers. Go ask for it at your local library. We love libraries here at Draft2Digital.
I'll show you.
Todd is so inspiring. It's such an amazing book, and it's really a book of inspiration for writers and other creatives. He's going to hold that up, I think. There you go. Falling to Fly. And I listened to the audiobook that you read as well. So just phenomenal advice. So thank you. All right, a few more questions from the live audience here. So we have Nigel says, D2D sounds good for print and ebook. Yay, I'm glad it does. Thanks, Nigel. I assume I would have to set up author pages at Amazon, Barnes & Noble. How does that all integrate? Okay, so great question. You can, no matter how you publish, you can go with Author Central, which is a tool from Amazon. No matter whether you're traditionally published, whether your books are published direct to Amazon or through Draft2Digital, you can create an author page there. You can claim your books and have sort of a landing page with your photo, and you can even upload some other assets and things like that. Now, Draft2Digital also has, and I'll just drop this in. I'll drop this in the comments, and I'll put up a banner for it. But Draft2Digital also has books2read.com, which is a free service that we created because when we send your ebooks to the various retailers, we get the links for your other books that we can automatically insert into the back of the book. And what we do is we do universal book links. So when we send it to Amazon, we only send the Amazon link. When we send it to Apple, we only sell the Apple link, et cetera, et cetera. So we had to store all those links internally. We thought, why not let authors use it? So whether or not you are self-published or traditionally published or not even using Draft2Digital for publishing, you can still create a books2read.com account. And you can create not only universal book links with your links to your books in all the various retailers, but you can also create a free author page. And I'll just give you an example of that. Just to show you an example, I actually have two author pages. I have an author page for Mark Leslie. So it's really, really hard to figure out because you can go to books2read.com/Mark Leslie and I control that. It's my author page. And I have links to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo and Google and all the places. And you can do the same sort of thing. There are also other platforms like Goodreads where you can create a free author profile, bookbub.com, so many places with free tools. Now, if you go to, and again, I'll drop this in the comments, we mentioned 20 books to 50K is a really good group, and Wide for the Win. I'm also a member of that over on Facebook. You can check that out. There's lots of great strategies and tips for authors on that. I need to take a breath. Todd, what sort of advice do you want to riff on based on what I was just sharing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big fan of the 20 books to 50K site. People are so free with information. And, as I was mentioning before, as you're cobbling together your own little system of selling books and marketing books and advertising books, just the more information you can get, wide for the win, 20 books, going to conferences like Superstars writing seminars to put together your machine. It's all good. Every single bit of it, whatever works for you is probably what you should be working with.
Right. No, I like that. And again, you're leaning into your strengths, which is a common theme, right? Is what are the things you're really good at? What are the things not? Okay, this other question from Tiffany Inks. Is there someone in D2D to help us know how to price the paperback? So if you go back to the previous session I did on D2D books, you'll see it shows you, it kind of recommends a price, but then you can still adjust that and you can see what your margin is. But if you do have questions, one of the great things I love about Draft2Digital is email support@draftdigital.com and say, hey, I have a book in this genre, and can you advise on the price? Now, that will require a human at Draft2Digital. And again, we're a limited team. We don't outsource this to thousands of people so we can get back to you in 30 seconds with a non-answer. We actually get you real answers. So it takes our humans a lot longer. But we have the most passionate, wonderful people who really want to help you get the right answer. But you can also go to online websites and say, okay, in this genre, for a book that is 300 pages, 250 pages, in US dollars or Canadian or wherever it is, what are the reasonable prices that we know customers are willing to pay for a print book? So hopefully, Tiffany, that's one of the ways you can get that answer as well. And sorry, more comments. What questions? Terry asks thoughts about BookBub. Todd, any thoughts about BookBub for marketing?
I like BookBub. What I've heard about BookBub is the BookBub deal is just phenomenal. If you can get the deal, it's gonna skyrocket your sales. The advertising I think is decent. I have not had a lot of experience with it. I have a little bit of experience with it, and it was okay, but it wasn't clearly enough for me to pursue it on a regular basis. I love their author page. It's nice to see all your books up there, and it's one more place like Goodreads or Amazon where people can see you, and gathering your audience is all about who can see you. Yeah. I highly recommend people go to BookBub and start putting their books up there, get their name up there, follow the things that you like. The more you follow things that you like, the more people are going to be able to kind of find back, identify with what you like and then find their way back to you.
Right. And the other thing I'll say about BookBub, so there are people who are really good and gurus who can do Amazon ads and who can do BookBub ads or Facebook ads. There's a lot of work involved, a lot of manual labor. And myself, I'm a one-person operation over here with my books and stuff. So I have to control my time. And so do I want to spend 3 hours a day manipulating my ads, or do I want to spend that time working on my next books or some of the other 5,000 tasks I have to do as an independent author? So BookBub and writtenwordmedia.com and the various sites like that are a time saver for me. I can spend $800 on ads, Facebook ads, and give Facebook all my money, which I'm really good at doing. Or I can try to get a BookBub for $800 and go, oh, whew, they already have 1.5 million readers who read Herman Fantasy. I pay them for that if I'm lucky enough to get it. But again, I like that kind of marketing because what I just did is I just ran a promo on one of my books just a couple of weeks ago, and I was in LA doing stuff with Writers of the Future, and it's running while I'm doing other things, so I didn't even have to worry about it or look at things. So that's kind of a cool thing. More questions keep popping up. So Tiffany says, I have a children's illustrated book. Do you allow ebooks published in color interior? Yes. So here's the trick with ebooks, Tiffany, when it comes to color. You have to have a color reader. And I think I saw someone mention earlier they had a color Kobo reader and stuff like that. Most ebook readers are not color. Now, the apps on your phone are, right? Because your phones display color, but e-ink, most e-ink, 90% of them out there are black and white. So it's still only going to be as good as the device they're reading it on. The other thing to know, Tiffany, is children's books primarily still, like I earlier in the day, I talked about print book sales are still 70 to 80% of the industry. That's in general. There are some genres where print books are 30% of the industry. But when it comes to children's books, they're closer to 90% of the industry sales, or 95, because even my son, when I worked at Kobo and I could get him any ebook he wanted for free, and we did have a little color tablet that Kobo was producing at the time, he still wanted to go to the library and the bookstore with me and the tactile experience. So Tiffany, and it is harder to get print books. It's harder to get print books in color for kids. Ingram Spark has some great tools for color interiors, and the other Lulu and Book Vault and other platforms are ways you can do that. Because again, Todd, you saw that there was that little girl who was looking at was it the fountain?
Yeah, it was at a holiday fair. She was there with her mom, and then she just was looking at the banner and was just lost in the image, cool. And then she wanted to hear the story. Yeah. That's just how it rolled.
Yeah, so that's something that I think is really important, is again, that tactile experience. Because the other thing too, with an illustrated book, and I'm in a print on demand coloring book, a fantasy coloring book that fellow Superstars alum that she put Tanya Hales put together and asked us to write some family friendly fantasy stories, and she has these gorgeous illustrations. When I'm at in-person cons, it's so great because a lot of my stuff is scary stuff, one hand screaming, and urban fantasy and stuff like that, and true ghost stories. But then I have a little section over there with a couple of my family friendly books, and those coloring books just draw people. They get and they're so excited too, as well, because then you can even write your own stories the way she did them. And again, those sell. For me, anyways, I purchased them from the publisher. I purchased them from Tanya at a discount, and I resell them at those fairs. But those in-person events are great when people want to open it up and browse through and see how gorgeous the illustrations are.
Yeah, it helps them connect to the story, being able to have that tactile experience.
Yeah.
For some people, that's hugely important.
And S. McQueen says a really good point. The problem is there's no way to compete with bookstore children's books because of POD pricing. You are so true. It's so true. It is hard, and that is where again, I'm an author who I do work. I've just signed a deal with a publisher just a few months ago on another book, and I self-publish. I do both. With children's books, you may be better off going with a publisher, and it's hard to get a publisher. But I'm not saying just because this is Indie Books for Authors Day doesn't mean it may be better off going with them, because they already have easy access to distribution as well, and that may be it's an uphill battle both ways. I'll be honest with you, but that may be something to consider. Now, Thomas asked, do libraries buying print books get the same discount that's offered to bookstores, and would libraries respond to super discounted ebooks just for them? Great question, Thomas. Yes. So let me, so the discount that you offer through Ingram Spark, through Draft2Digital Print, whatever, they get the same discounts offered to bookstores, and they have limited budgets. So again, they're trying to buy up stuff that they know their patrons are going to want. It does really pay to have a relationship, especially if you're a local author and you know your book's available. So if your book's available through Ingram Spark or D2D Print, for example, your book's available for the library to order from Ingram, and most libraries have an Ingram account. So you can say, hey, my name's Thomas. I have a book that is in this genre, and I'm local, and I've been going to your library for 35 years because I love reading, and I've always loved reading. Here's some stuff about my book. Here, maybe even bring them a copy if they want to check it out, and say you can order this from Ingram. The ebook, of course, is available because you've made it available through Draft2Digital. You can say it's available through Overdrive or Hoopla or Biblioteca or Baker and Taylor or Palace Marketplace. So a whole bunch of different marketplaces as well. And we do offer special promos through Draft2Digital. If you're publishing through Draft2Digital, you can email us and find out. There's a promo form. I think if you're already a member, you already have an account, you go to d2d.tips/d2d promo form. You're logged into your account, and you can fill out the form and say, hey, tell me when you have promos. And I think right now, Megan, just earlier today, who does author promotions, emailed something out saying, oh, there's an Overdrive adult something book, or no, something for Mother's Day. I can't remember. Something's coming up. There's always promos coming up. And sometimes with Overdrive and with Biblioteca and Hoopla, we'll sometimes say, hey, we're doing a special deal. Are you willing to let them discount your book to libraries? And that way libraries can stock up and make lots of purchases. So lots of great opportunities there. All right, back to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to flag the comments for, you see anything that looks like a question you wanted to answer there while I was babbling?
I see the Library of Congress number for a
Where's
question. That's an interesting question from
where is that?
S. McQueen. It says, do I need to have a Library of Congress number for libraries to take my books? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm actually curious about the answer to that question.
Yeah, great question. No, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a Library of Congress number for libraries to take your books. I am evidence of the fact that I've been selling books in print and in ebook to libraries for 20 years, and I have never had a Library of Congress number. So you don't have to. Does it help when it's listed? And they have a system called the MARC system, spelled different from my name, but they have a system that's for library books, and obviously a Library of Congress number. Any of those things you have, if you can get a review from the Library Journal or Publishers Weekly or any of those big trade magazines, that really helps too. But it doesn't mean you can't ever sell books to libraries because you don't have one. Right? Just like you don't need to have your own ISBN. It helps. It's great if you can afford them. I get them for free in Canada, thanks to Canada Council for the Arts. But you don't need to. You can use the free ISBN that we provide, for example. So that was a great question. Thanks for pointing it out, Todd.
Yeah.
What other? I've already decided to do self-publishing, but do you consult? Tiffany, yes, I do. I do personally consult and help authors over at marklusley.ca. You can find that. But I'm not here to sell Mark. I'm here to talk about all the greatness of Draft Digital. And one of the things we've done, and I'm going to talk to Jim Azevedo, who heads the PR, is I did this before where I said, hey, because I spent the whole day today doing live videos with awesome folks like Todd and so many other guests. I'm willing to do another day where I do half-hour free one-on-one consults and just say, okay, for the entire day, I'll just do these meetings with you. Maybe a 20-minute meeting so I can have 10 minutes between, so I can have biological breaks, and I wolf down a sandwich between takes. But yeah, and the one thing, we do have an Ask Us Anything. So for example, on Thursday, April 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern, every week, Draft2Digital does D2D Live, Self-Publishing Insiders. We usually have amazing hosts. Jim Azevedo is the main host. Sometimes I'm a guest host when he's busy with other things, or if I really, really know the guest really well, so I've already read their book or something like that. But we're doing an Ask Us Anything on Thursday, so you can come in and ask Draft2Digital anything. I mean, don't ask me whether or not Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger still do their own stunts, because I'll just make something up. But if it's related to publishing,
now I'm definitely going to ask you that. If you're going to make it up, that's going to be a more interesting answer anyways.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Probably not anymore, because, they might break.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Nigel, here's a question. Nigel says, my author platform is just about there. Website, book funnel. That's fantastic. Newsletter, subscribe. Look at that. You're already there. And Facebook. Todd, what else would you recommend for the author? Nigel's got it here, right?
Yeah, while you were talking, I was looking at that question going, I mean, like, I suppose you could add other social media, Instagram or, whatever else.
If you're into it, right? If you love Instagram.
But this is, I mean, you just listed the backbone of my platform right here. I mean, like, I would add to that my personal thing of meeting people face to face. But again, whether you're interested in doing in-person sales or not is a question. And if you're not, then clearly you don't need to add that. But I can't think of anything else that is a basic part. That's all of it right there.
And Nigel, I'm not sure how close to London you are. I believe you're in the UK somewhere, but if you're close to London, going to I know it's a trade event, but going to London Book Fair and just seeing the book industry and what's going on gives you a feel for what's going on, and just listening to people. I know myself as a former bookseller and as someone who's worked in the industry since 1992, going to those events and listening to what people are talking about with books has given me an edge. I mean, one of the publishers I pitched to, I was at a business meeting, industry meeting, and I overheard a vice president of Thunder & Publishing say, we've always wanted to publish a book of ghost stories about Hamilton. So guess what I pitched them a month later? Book of ghost stories about Hamilton. Guess who got a contract a week later? So just sometimes going to those events, and I think the self-publishing, James Blatch was doing some stuff in the UK for indie authors as well. So keep an ear to the ground for some of those, because you can meet some awesome people like Todd and learn from them in person. Let me see. Oh yeah, and Michelle says a lot of creatives are on Blue Sky right now. So yeah, if you want to check out Blue Sky as well, yeah.
I love Blue Sky.
Yeah, and I would say just don't go to social media because you got to be on TikTok to sell or whatever. I would say if you're already interested in a platform and you're already engaged, and it's social media, it's not broadcast, it's not selly media. Nobody wakes up and says, I can't wait to go on Insta. Like, my wife wakes up in the morning, she has her Instagram time when I bring her coffee when she's waking up. She has her 5 minutes of Instagram time where she's looking at just cute dog videos probably online. And that's
wow, she can limit that to 5 minutes. No way.
I usually force her. I'm like, come on, you got to get to work. Because then when she leaves the house, I have the house to myself again, and then I'm happy because then I can get my writing done. But anyways, nobody wakes up and says, she doesn't wake up and go, I'm looking to see ads on what I'm going to buy on Instagram. She wants to look for something entertaining. So when you think about your social media posts, think about what it is you can put out there that you're passionate about. Remember, Todd said his specialty in that previous session we did an hour earlier, he's a storyteller. And the minute this cute little girl who was just in awe of the beautiful art on his magnificent displays, and I'll try and pop up some of these displays just to show you the phenomenal stuff that Todd does. This was Dragon Steel 2024.
Yeah.
Fan Expo Denver. Like, look at this. So basically, Todd attracted people with these amazing displays, and then once she got their attention, it's like, do you want to hear a story? And she's like, yeah, or she just nodded. She was so excited, and that is what he did. He shared something he was passionate about, and that's the kind of thing you can do on social media. Share the things you're passionate about. I just got this book from indie author T. Thorne Coyle. I supported her on Kickstarter, and I got this beautiful book called Resistance Matters, essays on everyday love and action. Thorne is an amazing person. I know Thorne well through various writing community groups. I can't wait to read this book. But one of the things I'll be doing is saying, oh my God, I just got this awesome book from an author I love, and I'll share that on social media. I'm not trying to sell the book. I'm just trying to share something I'm really passionate about. And sometimes when I get my own books from the printer, like from D2D Print or Ingram Spark or wherever, I share that I got them and I'm excited. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just sharing my love. So I think that's an important aspect as well. And Terry says, yeah, emphasis on the social. Like thank you, Terry. Love that as well. TerryOdell.com as well. You should check out if you like. I love Terry's romantic mysteries. Thrillers, mysteries with a little bit of romance in them. They're really a lot of fun. So definitely worth checking out as well. I don't have any signed in the house. I'm going to have to rectify that sometime soon. And then Nigel says narrowed social media down to Facebook. It's where my readers are and I don't have time. So yeah, Nigel, if you're on Facebook and you're sharing things on Facebook, and we know it's a pay to play game anyway. So you share, if you have 1,000 friends, like maybe 2 of them will see it. So sharing things, like I was sharing for the last 2 weeks, I was sharing, hey, I'm going to be hosting this D2D thing. 99% of the people who are friends of mine probably never saw it. And I did. Someone later on said, oh my God, I only found out about this at the last minute. Interesting how that can work. I hope the answer. I hope we got Todd. Did I miss any questions? Todd, thank you for helping me with this.
Oh, absolutely. No, I didn't see. I've been looking for the questions. I think we snagged them all. If not, somebody throw it up really quickly.
So Tom says, thank you, Tom, for that. I'm glad you found that useful, Terry. Of course, Terry, thanks for writing great books as well. And Nigel, yeah, you're going to check out the London event. And I can't remember, I think it might be April. I can't remember. I haven't been to London Book Fair since before the pandemic. I haven't been across the pond since 2019. So I can't even remember. But then there's Frankfurt, which is a lot closer to you than it is to me. And that is the world's largest book fair. And the one building of English language that I go to, there's 14 buildings, and one of them is just English language. And it's just a beautiful, overwhelming, definitely a fun thing to go to if you're a book lover. And writers can learn lots from those events as well. I think, that is it. Todd, thanks for coming back and hanging out with me.
It's my pleasure. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you're a sucker for punishment. So just a reminder that if you are looking for signing up for a free account with Draft2Digital, you can publish your ebooks. You can publish your print books for free at draft2digital.com. And that is a great thing. We do lives every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can always watch them after the fact via our YouTube channel, but you can go to dddlive.com. Again, Ask Us Anything is coming up. It's coming up this week, this Thursday on the 24th of April. And be sure to like and comment and subscribe so you don't miss out. When we posted these sessions, you potentially get notified about them as well. That's really exciting. And yeah, so I think, yeah, you can start your self-publishing career now at Draft2Digital. Yeah, that I guess is it for today. Thanks for joining me. Thank you again, Todd. I'm going to find that little end thing, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend. Nigel has a lot less weekend left than we do because he's over in the UK. All right. Thanks, Todd. Take care.